Okay, so today I've got a friend and a Spanish-speaking teacher. We've got Patrick Creighton here. Hi, Patrick. Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you perfectly, David. Thanks for having me on the right way. It's an honor to be with you today.
Great. And Patrick, tell us, you teach Spanish courses, is that correct?
Yeah, that's right. So I'm actually a polyglot. I teach Spanish, French, Italian, and Portuguese to English speakers who are learning their first foreign language. So yeah, Spanish is actually my most popular language because a lot of the Brits like going abroad to Spain, as you very well know, and they go there and they fall in love with the culture and the language, and they're like, I want to move here. So I've got a few clients who have houses in Spain, have moved there already, or they just go there regularly on holiday, and they're like, oh my God, I need to speak the language. Like your experience is just not even a percentage of what it could be if you actually spoke the
Yeah.
language when you go there. So they kind of
I'm always,
realize this and then come to me.
yeah, I'm always pushing people to learn, and I was a worst offender. The first 2 years I didn't learn, I didn't need to for the work I was doing and working for an English company. But when I went self-employed, it was a case of having to quickly. So I wasted 2 years really. But yeah, so you got some tips for us today, Patrick. Let's have your ideas.
Yeah, so I've got some like fun tips. They're called false friends. They're called false cognates. So words that sound like you think you know what they mean, but actually they mean something completely different. And we can talk about some maybe like embarrassing situations that we've got ourselves into with these. And I'll kick us off with this one here. So I'll tell you the word in Spanish, and you say if you know what it means, say what it means, and we'll go on from there. So embarazada. Have you heard that one before? Embarazada.
Pregnant. Why have I got
Yeah,
that
that's
wrong?
the one. Yeah, that's it. Pregnant,
A
embarazada.
word
But
you don't
obviously,
want to hear very often.
sounds like embarrassed, right?
Yeah.
Embarazada. So people think, yeah, I'm embarrassed. Estoy embarazado or estoy embarazada. But you're saying now I'm pregnant. So that's a classic one. Have you ever had problems with that or not?
No, Aberwentha is embarrassed, no, or Aberwentha.
Yeah, vergüenza. Yes, vergüenza. Yeah, they say
Yeah,
tener vergüenza, like tengo vergüenza, or me
yeah,
da vergüenza, like it gives me, yeah, vergüenza, gives me embarrassment.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, exactly,
yeah. It does
exactly.
sound very see, but yeah, I did know that one actually. I did know the pregnancy one. Um, it's something a single bloke might not want to hear when he's here.
Yeah, right. Is another good one of my favorites. Constipado. Have you heard people say that in Spain? They say estoy constipado.
No, I haven't.
Can you guess what it means?
Uh, but it probably doesn't mean what it sounds like. No.
No, that definitely doesn't. To be fair, it's the same idea, right? Constipado, you're like congested. It just they use it for when they say I've got a cold. So you can say estoy resfriado or estoy constipado. And it just means I'm bunged up and stuffed up, but
Yeah,
like up this end, right? Up the top end and not down the other end.
yeah. I
So
haven't
that
heard
that
that actually. Uh, uh, oh. Resfriar. Tengo resfriar. Cold, flu. Tengo
yeah,
gripe.
exactly.
Malo. Estoy enfermo. Malo.
Sí,
Yeah.
claro. Estoy enfermo, sí. La gripe, sí. Estoy resfriado. And
So,
yeah, the next one I've got is molestar.
uh, molesta. Yeah. It doesn't mean how we would say someone is a molester. It means, I think, molest. Did you say molesta?
Yeah,
Mole-
molestar. Yeah, the verb molestar.
well, I would say,
Me
yo no
molesta.
quiero molestar. Don't wanna. I do say it in English. Don't want to disturb you. Don't want to disturb you.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I translate molestar in my head to like yeah, bother. It's like bother,
Bother.
annoy, disturb as well. You can say yeah, no quiero molestar. Yeah, or you can say algo me molesta. Me molesta, me molesta. And yeah, when I was teaching in Spain, when I was teaching English in Madrid, I had a group of teenagers. It was an awkward age because it wasn't like the right age for me to kind of let them know what molest means in English. They were kind of like 12, 13. But they would say, teacher, hey, my brother molests me. And I was like, oh my God. If there was my adult class, I would, have a bit of a joke about that and talk to them about what molest means. But I was just like, okay, don't say that. Don't say that. Please don't say that. At least don't say it to me. To the police maybe, but not to me.
I've actually used it a few times. Like if you go up to a group of people that are talking, perdone, no quiero me esta lado, pero puede darme la dirección. So it's like to stop them talking. I'm sorry to disturb you, but can you tell me the directions? No? Yeah.
Yeah, really useful one for that. Or something's bothering you, me molesta, it's annoying me, it's bothering me.
La mosquito molesta mucho.
Claro.
Yeah.
Exacto.
Next one.
Exacto. Okay, this one, I mean, it's a bit of an easy one, really, is ropa. La ropa.
Clothes.
Yeah, so clothes. And obviously, in etymology, the B and the P, like if you make the B and P sound, they're usually the same bit of your mouth, B and P. So they're actually interchangeable. So like, ropa, roba, like robe, that's where it comes from, yeah, like the clothes. But obviously, some English people might hear that and think like it's a rope, ropa. Have you ever mixed those up or not really? It's one of those you kind of just ropa is
No,
clothes and that's it.
Here in Andalusia, where I live, and a lot of my Spanish friends, they cut the ends of the words off all the time. So you have to listen doubly careful, They miss the S's off and don't pronounce the last letter. So, that is a big hurdle to get over here in Spain. But ropa, I mean, I use that a lot for my work, changing the clothes for work and things like that when I first started. So estoy buscando para ropa para mi trabajo when I'm looking for clothes for work and things like that. So I've used that quite a bit in the past.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, and it's we can maybe do another section about the different accents because you live in Andalusia, right? I learned Spanish. I did live in Elche, like near Alicante, for a little bit, about a year and a half, but predominantly I spent most of my time in Madrid. And in Madrid, the accent's very nice and neutral. But in Andalusia, yeah, like you said, they cut the S's off of the end, which is one thing, right? Saying like sabe, instead of sabes, they say sabe. But they also cut them off like in the middle as well. They shorten everything in Andalusia, right?
When I got a Spanish friend that when he asked for a coffee, instead of if he's ordering 2 coffees, he won't say dos café con leche. He say not dos leche. He say do leche, do. Dame do leche. Terrible. I've got a friend. He's been a friend for years. The first 3 months I knew him, I was talking to him, and his name's Oka, and I was talking to him, Oka, and then one day somebody said to me, Oka, and I said, he's Oka. They went, no, that's Oscar. They've been pronouncing his name without the S, and I've been calling him that, and he's been answering me, and I didn't realise it's what I heard other people calling him, Oka, when they should have been saying Oscar. They cut out the S altogether. I thought,
that's great.
Yeah.
That's great. I was like, Oscar. I've never heard that name. Like maybe they're like, I don't know, Japanese origin or something. But Oscar. Oh my God.
Yeah, terrible.
Yeah, they're terrible. They're terrible for that in Andalusia.
Yeah,
they're terrible for
that. They change the younger generation of Spanish. I don't mix so much with the younger anymore. But I was out on my motorbike a little while ago and went to have a coffee, and went to have a beer, and one of the guys, that younger guy, he went up to and he said, "Dame dos sin plomo." Have you heard that? Dame dos sin plomo.
Sin plomo. Like sin plomo. Like
2 beers.
Without
unleaded.
lead. Plomo.
Alcohol free.
No way. See, that would have thrown me completely.
Unleaded. He's asking for 2 unleaded. And I said, what? He said, and the waiter gave him 2 alcohol-free beers. So what he's actually asking for is dame dos sin no, what did I say? Sin plomo,
Sin plomo.
unleaded beer. And I thought, what's that? And he said, it's non-alcoholic beer. Unbelievable. My Spanish wife said, I haven't heard that, but I've heard it a few times with the younger Spanish people. But yeah, I did make an embarrassing mistake ages ago at a dinner with a load of Spanish friends. And I wanted a straw, but I asked the waitress for una paja.
Oh. Yeah, I know. I know where you're going with that one. As soon as you say straw, I'm like,
Instead
paja,
of
yeah?
pajito, I asked for a hand job. And she smiled. So, yeah. But there you go.
I gave you a straw, I'm guessing, yeah?
Yeah, I got a straw in the end, but got some funny looks.
Yeah. Did we speak about this last time we chatted about how like vulgar the Spanish people are, especially when you translate directly back to English, right? Like the insults and things like that. They're really, really strong. The stuff that they say, like hearing swear words on the radio, even it's such a taboo thing for us. You won't hear a swear word on the radio like in the UK unless it's like after maybe the watershed, right? Like 8, 9 p.m. But in Spain, I remember putting the radio on and hearing words like coño and stuff, and I was like, are you serious? They say that,
Yeah,
and the
yeah,
kids say it as well. But
yeah.
that's a big difference from yeah. Go
I
on.
don't think. I mean, Gonyo is the female lady parts, and to put it politely. But I mean, I've heard women in a supermarket calling their young children, "Ben aquí, Gonyo, ben aquí, come here," And I think, what? And
Gosh.
nobody brats an eye. And I said to my wife, "Did you hear what she just said?" And she said, "Yeah, it's a bit vulgar. Bit vulgar, If you said that in the supermarket in the UK, be locked out, But there you go. Yeah, and a
Yeah.
favourite with my Spanish friends here is um like the people here, they say me cago, me cago. You heard that? Me cago, I shit.
Yeah.
But here they say in the village where my wife's from, they say me cago en tu familia, me cago en tu familia, and then I shit on your family, and then even worse than that, me cago en todo tu muerto.
That is the worst one. When I
I
first
shit
heard
on
that,
your dead.
me
I
cago en
mean,
tus
what?
muertos. I was like, in my dead ancestors. You translate
Yeah,
that back to
yeah.
English, and it's like that is you.
I mean,
Imagine
how can
it's
you
a good
think
insult.
that?
It's a good
Yeah,
insult,
yeah,
right? But it's so strong. Me cago en tus muertos. Yeah, me cago en Dios as well. They say. It's
I
just
haven't heard that one, but yeah, I shit on your dead is I hear that a lot here, and not just with the youngsters either. The older people say it all the time. Older people, but there you go. Like if they shut their finger in the door, they knock a drink over. Me cago, But I suppose you would say that in English as well. But yeah, you learn all the swear words first, don't you? So
yeah, you've got it. And you know what? I make a point of teaching my students who are learning with me, who are maybe like living in England. I teach them maybe not how to like swear and offend and upset people, but certainly slang words because they're a great in, aren't they? When you're learning the language and you're speaking to the locals and whatnot, if you say like off the cuff like "coño," they're gonna laugh. They're gonna find it
yeah,
very funny, and they appreciate that because it means you're listening to their like how they speak and you care about their culture. You're not just there with a textbook kind of like buenos dias, yo quiero, you're
yeah.
speaking their language, you're speaking how they actually talk. So it's really important and really good ways of like building like relationships and rapport with people, I find. Yeah. Send the odd
Years ago,
swear word
when
or
I
the odd bit of slang.
years ago when I was going self-employed, I went to builders merchants, and a builders merchants, like any country, when you go into a builders merchants, they're old school, old guys working there for years. They don't really want to speak to you. They haven't got the time. If you don't know what you want, they want to speak to you. And I had problems getting materials one day, and the reception said, "Go and see the old guy in the yard." And I went out to this guy trying to get some attention to buy some wood, and he just wouldn't give me the time of day. And so I tried in Spanish, and he just waved me away, and I came away embarrassed. And that's the first time in my life I felt rejected about the Spanish and Spanish system. So I said to my Spanish teacher at the time, I need an icebreaker. And he didn't understand what an icebreaker was. He thought I meant an axe or something, And I said, no, I need a way of, interacting with this guy. So he said, I've got one for you. He said, years ago, the word giri was meant a bloody tourist, and it was quite a bad word. But now it's used all over the place, and it doesn't mean anything more than a tourist. So he said, go up to him and tap him on the shoulder and say, hola, buenos días, soy giri, no tonto, puedo ayudarme, por favor? And that's what I did. And basically it means tapping him on the shoulder and say, hello, I'm a bloody foreigner, but I'm not stupid. Can you help me, please? So I went up to this guy, I rabbit fashion practicing this on the way to driving to the builders merchants. And when I went up to him, tapped him on the shoulder and I said, hola, soy giri, no tonto, puedo ayudarme, por favor? And he turned around and he laughed and he went, ¿qué quiere? And then I started getting service after that. And then every week I used to go to him and he'd go, oye, giri, ven aquí, ¿qué quiere? Come here, tourist, And then I was in, And even now, to this day, I don't go there very often. But when I go, hola, giri, ¿cómo va? So, yeah, it's knowing how to interact to begin with, get your foot in the door a bit.
That's awesome, yeah. That's awesome. And it speaks to being, like, the power of being vulnerable, really, and saying, look, I'm not from here, I don't speak the language perfectly. I'm not from here. You kind of if you play into that, and like you did when you said, yeah, soy giri, I'm a gringo, I'm a giri, I'm a white tourist. I'm not from here. That it gives them something, and it tells them that you care about them.
Yeah, same as when you go to the market here and they give you a price in the market, like in the fruit market, and they say 2.50 or 15 euro. I mean, oye, soy giri, no tonto, deme el precio bien, and they go, oh, vale. So you negotiate a better price, because I'm a bloody tourist, but I'm not stupid. What's the real price, And they go, oh, okay, then they might think you've been here a little bit longer. Okay, and always, my wife's embarrassed when I do that, but I always get them to drop the price. The other thing that I find I don't like is what I've heard Spanish say in the bars and restaurants is when they want to get the attention from the waiter and they go, oiga, oiga. To me, that sounds rude. It's like, oi, come here, But oiga means hear me, hear me. And they use that all the time with the hand, but they shout it, oiga, oiga. And to me, it just seems rude, but apparently it's the dumb thing here.
Yeah, that one definitely for me took a lot of getting used to. Certainly, how they behave in restaurants and bars, like you said, oiga, or even oye, which is the informal version of it, like oiga with usted and then oye with tú. They would say that, oye. And like you said, for us, it sounds like you're saying oi. But actually, you're right, it comes from oír, which is to hear. So they're saying, hear me, listen, hear me. Yeah. But even then, I mean, it's odd, isn't it? And especially how they order things in Spain. A lot of guiris, a lot of tourists will go there and they'll try and say, yo puedo tener una cerveza. Spanish people don't order like that. Like you mentioned before, you say, dame, give me, ponme, ponme una cerveza, yeah, ponme una caña. That takes a lot of getting used to. And I remember, I don't think I've used it a few times. I've said dame or ponme a few times if I'm with my Spanish friends and it's kind of that environment. But if I'm by myself, I would normally say me das, which is it's a bit softer. You give me, me das una cerveza. Me pones una cerveza, por favor. That's the other thing that you've noticed after living there for such a long time, the difference between how much we overuse please and thank you in England. It's absurd, right? Sorry. You won't hear people saying like lo siento much in Spain. Perdón, perdona, but lo siento is no.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, I don't like to use the word dummy. If I do use it, I say dame una cerveza, por favor. But even then, it still sounds. Yo quiero una cerveza, por favor. Also, tráeme una cerveza. It's a little bit rude. To me, that's rude. Trying to be polite as I can, but yeah, my Spanish friends do that. They sit there. Oh yeah, dame dos cerveza, and I say por favor, you know, and they go, oh, sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, it's such an English thing, isn't it? To say that please and like how we would order. Oh, I'd like to get, please could I have, and they're very much like quiero, dame, I want, give me, put me. Yeah, so that's another cultural thing to get used to, for sure.
So Patrick, let's talk a bit. En la próxima semana, si se quiere, soy presentador de radio aquí en Amorea. Entonces, en la próxima semana, si te apetece un día tú conmigo en la radio, hablamos en español para la gente en inglés, para practicar un poco el español. ¿Qué piensas?
Hombre, sí que me apetece, pero la semana que viene no puedo, pero a lo mejor en 3 semanas estaré libre, sí, o el jueves o el viernes, pero la semana que viene no puedo, no
Vale.
puedo, porque tengo una
Qué
boda
bien.
en
¿Dónde?
Inglaterra.
¿En Inglaterra? Joder.
Sí, en Inglaterra, sí, por eso mañana yo vuelvo a Inglaterra y tengo la boda de una amiga
Vale.
ahí en Birmingham. No sé si tú
Bueno,
conoces Birmingham.
no mucho, no mucho.
No
Es
conoces.
frío y lloviendo. Mucho frío, mucho lloviendo. Ahora mismo, en
Ah,
Birmingham.
sí, yo creo que sí. En este periodo, en este momento, sí, está lloviendo mucho,
En
como
Inglaterra
siempre.
no necesito pagar para la boda. Aquí en España sí. Para visitar a un amigo en la boda, aquí es 150 cada cabeza. Tú sabes, ¿no?
¿En serio? ¿Se paga?
Claro. Si
No
tú
lo
tengo
sabía.
esta, en noviembre pasado, mi mujer tiene un niño 30 años. Noviembre pasado, casado aquí con una chica alemana. Y la boda en el pueblo cerca aquí en la playa, es muy chulo. Pero cada cabeza, cuando invitan a la gente, la responde es una cuenta al bancario. Para decir si me quiere, tú pones ingresa dinero 150 cada cabeza. Son
¿En
300 euros,
serio?
una pareja, 300 euros. Esto significa sí, mi boy.
¿En serio? Vaya tela. O sea
Sí.
que paga el invitado.
Claro,
No, no me lo puedo creer.
gente no paga regalos, no hay regalos. Entonces, cuando
Ah,
tú
ok.
dices, no hay ningún regalo. Yo he casado con mi mujer español cuando hace 12 años ya. Y cuando yo he oído esto, yo decía, joder, es poco fuerte, ¿no? La gente, mi amigo necesita pagar. Yo digo, sí, sí, sí. El inglés no gusta esta, pero el español es normal. Pero ahora mismo, una boda normal, 100, hace un año 120, ahora es 150. Un amigo mío fue a 3 bodas el año pasado, 3 bodas, imagen, es caro.
Hostia, carísimo, ¿no? 3 bodas.
Hostia,
Madre
esta
mía.
palabra bruto.
Ah, bueno, otra palabra muy española, ¿verdad? Hostia. Hostia.
Yeah.
Sí. O si
So,
no,
see, so in
ostras.
Spain, so here in Spain, you need to pay, and you get the invitation,
Yeah.
and the RSPV is a bank account number, and once you've sent the money in, that's your acceptance. You can put the amount that you want, but normally it's the amount that you think the dinner and the entertainment will be. And most of the weddings are sit down dinner with entertainment, and the weddings go on until the early hours of the morning, as you can imagine. But yeah, so you have to pay, but it can be expensive. You've got a couple of weddings to go to in a year.
Yeah, man. That's odd. But I guess they don't. It's strange. Yeah, no, that's another massive difference, like culturally for us, isn't it? I've not been to a wedding in Spain, so I've not experienced it. But yeah, that seems yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I'd like that. Oh, please come to our weddings. Here's the bank details. You kind of like pay for yourself. I guess that includes like the food and everything, and
Toda la
also if you're
comida,
not,
sí,
sí,
mira,
la comida. Y,
la boda nosotros, mi mujer y yo, empezaba a la 1, a la mediodía. Uh, chupito, comida pequeña cerca de la piscina y después la fiesta, la boda, la ceremonia en el jardín y por la tarde una cena en la mesa para 60 personas, 5 platos la comida y después hay copa toda la noche hasta las 4 por la noche. Entonces gasta mucho dinero, pero si la gente paga 150, este dinero paga la boda.
Claro, bueno, si lo ves así, tiene sentido, ¿no? Y a lo mejor vale la pena.
Yeah,
If you get a lot of drink, get a lot of food,
yeah.
um,
And the
and
Spanish
you don't
do
have
it.
to bring a present as well.
No
So you wouldn't
present.
you wouldn't bring you've not brought presents to
I've been
los
to
novios ahí en España when you've been to
no, I've been
the
to
weddings.
about 5 weddings here, and I've never bought a present, and I've never seen anybody buy a present. Possibly the mother and father of the bride and groom might give them a present, something special, but it's not normal. Not normal. Normally, you just if it's a close member of the family, like when I got married to my wife, her aunties and uncles put in double the normal amount, so
Right.
you can put in more. And close family, like a brother, if you went to a wedding, your brother's wedding here, and the people were paying €100, 120 a head, your brother might put in 200 or 300 euros. So that
Right.
is how it goes. But yeah, it sounds a bit cold, but it helps pay for the wedding. And most of the cases it does. But in the 5 weddings I've been to here, and most of the people that I know, if it's a civil service in a town hall or something, then that normally doesn't happen. Younger people, if they get married like that, they go to a bar afterwards and have some drinks. Then they sort of have a kitty and they pay for themselves. But that's not really the traditional Spanish wedding, you know.
Mm-mm.
I'll
Yeah.
send you the video. Yo enviar la video, yo tengo la video, la boda, la niña, mi mujer, en aquí, on the playa. Es muy chulo el sitio. Pero la ceremonia, en la comida, es muy bien, muy bien. Pero la gente vegano, espantoso.
¿En serio? La gente, o
Entonces
sea
no
que
hay
toda la comida
no hay,
era vegana. Toda la comida era
la
vegana.
comida obligatory vegano, no hay
¿En
opción, no hay
serio?
menú, es menú vegano
No.
y no hay pescado, no hay carne, es muy raro, muy
En
raro.
España. Vaya tela.
Y toda la gente
Hay
dice, esto no viene, esto no viene. Y la gente paga 150 cada cabeza para esta imagen.
Oh,
Ya,
hombre,
pero es no
no,
normal aquí en España.
no. Que la comida sea vegana, no, eso no es normal, no. No, es verdad que se come mucho pescado en España, sobre todo ahí en donde estás tú en Almería. Me
En
imagino que
Almería hay
se
mucho
come
pescado, hay mucho carne,
mucho
sí, hay
pescado,
mucho pescado aquí.
mucha carne.
Mucho, ya. En la norte, en la medio, en Sevilla, Barcelona, Madrid, más carne, más carne. Vale,
Mm, mm.
okay. Well, Patrick, thanks very much. I've enjoyed the chat with you, and thanks for joining us on the show today. I'll leave a link below this to lessons. If anyone wants any lessons with Patrick, he's got some great courses that, and also possibly a free consultation lesson to get you started. So come and see Patrick and check out his courses in the link below this. Thanks very much for joining us today, Patrick.
Thanks very much, David. It's been an absolute pleasure. Thanks for listening, guys.